Greetings from the Arcturians. So what do we have here? Do we have a holy war on our hands when it comes to the Israel-US-Iran war? What is it? What is this? Is this, Netanyahu, who's a Jew, and President Donald Trump, who's supposedly a Christian, waging a holy war on the Muslims, meaning Iran, and then engulfing the whole of the Middle East, more Muslim countries, and dragging the whole of the Middle East into their war as well. The Muslim world. And then Iran is retaliating against Jews and Zionists and Christians by attacking Israel and, well, the US, in whatever way they are retaliating. So has this turned into a holy war from both sides? Looks like it. But who started it? Who started it? Remember who started it. It was not the Iranians. It was Netanyahu and Trump. And let me tell you, this is not a holy war. Instead, this is the devil's war. Why? Let me tell you why. Because the rules of engagement. Why is it that the holy war's rules of engagement are not being followed? Completely the opposite is being done, actually. And what are those rules of engagement when it comes to the holy war? No elderly, no women, no children, no non-combatants will be harmed or killed. And what are we looking at here? Completely the opposite. Civilian targets are being targeted on purpose. Hospitals, schools, or at least that elementary girls' school in Iran was hit. And I've already told you in a previous video what that was really about. Human sacrifice and child sacrifice for the devil Baphomet. That's what Pete Hegseth, the US Secretary of Defense, but he calls himself the US Secretary of War, so that should tell you something. That's what Pete Hegseth has done with that. A human sacrifice, a child sacrifice for the devil Baphomet, with that, with hitting and killing all those elementary school girls in Iran. That was a human sacrifice and child sacrifice done for the devil Baphomet by the US Secretary of Defense or Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. A mass human sacrifice, a mass child sacrifice. That's what Pete Hegseth has done there. That's the deeper hidden truth of it that I'm telling you and no one else will tell you, because no one else will risk the chance of looking crazy in public like this other than me. I've said that before as well in a previous video. I'm the only one who's brave enough to look crazy in public like this, talking about all of this. Hidden truth, the deeper layers of truth that we're dealing with here. Because why is it that, some of these world leaders like President Putin, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and now President Trump too, why is it that they keep coming into power and they keep waging wars? Because all this war business in this context, where it's not even necessary, where it's not even righteous, is human sacrifice for the devil, Baphomet. And when it comes to the Muslim world, it's for Jinn Iblis. So all these innocent people dying in these wars is human sacrifice. Is, these world leaders, President Putin, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and now President Trump too, whether President Trump knows about it or not. But he's playing accomplice with all of this, with Prime Minister Netanyahu, with all this war business with Iran, and engulfing the whole of the Middle East, the whole of the Gulf region into it. Or engulfing the whole of the Middle East, the whole Gulf region in it. Dragging them into it too. And now, and then President Trump's been wanting them to, start warring with Iran too. Like President Trump wants Saudi Arabia to be dragged into it, into the war with Iran and the whole of the Middle East, the whole of the Gulf region. And then what are we looking at? And then, of course, President Trump's been going off on NATO as well. Oh, right. So now that you need NATO for your war, now you want NATO to help you with your war? When you've been going off on NATO as well, when it comes to Russia and Ukraine war? But now that you need your help, but now that you need their help, NATO's help with your war, now you don't like NATO. Well, actually, you didn't like NATO anyway, but, you want their help. But at the same time, you don't want their help because they don't want to step into an illegal, unnecessary, unrighteous, unholy war of yours with Iran, engulfing the whole of the Middle East and the Gulf region. And what are we looking at here if that happens? And of course, you want the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer to help you and, I don't know, the UK and European countries to, step into your war as well. And then what are we looking at here? If that happens, we are looking at World War III. And President Putin is a ticking time bomb because he wants to start a nuclear war as well. He's a nuclear threat to our world. He's a very serious, extremely serious nuclear threat to our world. I've been talking about all of this and giving out all the intel that I can, that the galactics have been, trickling in to me. And then, of course, they ask me to pass it on to the world leaders, the politicians watching me. So maybe, just maybe, they might do something about it. Even though I'm not getting any acknowledgement or any credit for it. Because you all, don't run, all of you world leaders, or at least the few that are watching me, the politicians, you don't want to run the risk of looking crazy by acknowledging me, my presence, and the help and the intel I'm giving out to you, and we're giving out to you, the galactics. But we're still giving you the intel. We're still talking to you. We're still helping you. So if you could do something about it because of you being in power positions, like presidents, like prime ministers, then do something about it. But that's the dilemma. Trump wants to drag Saudi Arabia and the Middle East into this war with Iran. And Trump also wants to drag the UK and Europe into this war with Iran as well. And then what are we looking at? World War III, as I've been predicting and prophesying. And in that context, or in that sense, I suppose it's a good thing that, the allies like the UK, Europe, Saudi Arabia, and the Middle East, they are not jumping into this war with President Trump. But how are you going to stop it? How are you going to put an end to it? How are you going to stop Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump? How are you going to stop President Putin? Especially if he goes nuclear, which I've already said so in a previous video. We are warning you about President Putin wanting to go nuclear too. What if that happens? Do you guys have any solution to our world being in danger? Which I've been repeating that statement since last year. And you can see what is happening this year, right? Because I told you that you will see it. You will see the proof of it in near future. And now you're seeing the proof of it with this Iran war. US-Israel-Iran war. Engulfing the whole of the Middle East and the Gulf region as well. That's proof of what I was saying last year. You're seeing it play out in the real world now. And when it comes to Pete Hegseth, he's a reptilian. He's another reptilian. And he does not want this war to end because he's performing human sacrifices and child sacrifices for the devil Baphomet to stay in power. Because he wants to stay in power. He wants to keep his power position of being the United States Secretary of Defense, or Secretary of War, as he calls himself. Why do you think he calls himself the Secretary of War? Because he's not interested in defense. He's only interested in war and performing human sacrifices and child sacrifices through war for the devil Baphomet, because he's a Baphomet worshipper, because he's a devil worshipper. And he's pretending to be a good Christian, is he? Or maybe even a Catholic. Is he? God. The ignorance of what is really going on here with this war. Israel, US, Iran war, but also wars in general are about performing human sacrifices and child sacrifices for the devil Baphomet. And when it comes to the Muslim world, any kind of unholy, unrighteous, unnecessary, illegal war stemming from the Muslim world, that's about performing human sacrifices and child sacrifices for Jinn Iblis. I'm telling you now, and you better start listening to me, and you better start taking me seriously, because the things I've been saying are coming true, are happening, and you're seeing it play out. You are seeing it happen in our world with your own eyes. So who is crazy now? Who is crazy now? Am I crazy for predicting and prophesying all this? You still want to keep thinking that I'm crazy when you're seeing it happen in our world with your own human eyes, with your own physical senses. You still think I'm crazy. I don't think so. If anyone's crazy here, it's you lot who don't want to believe me, who don't want to listen to me, who don't want to take me seriously even now, because you're still not reaching out to me and you're still not connecting with me and the galactics so we can come together and put an end to this, all this war business. Unholy, unrighteous, unnecessary, illegal war business. and to make our world and this planet, planet Earth, safe for everyone. Not just, oh, this country or that country. No, for everyone. For all human beings, for every human being on this planet, planet Earth. Make it safe for everyone. Not just for this country or that country or this religion or that religion or this race or that race. Please, wake up and smell the coffee. I repeat, our world is in danger. Our world is still in danger. And even under nuclear threat and nuclear danger when it comes to President Putin. Because as I keep saying, he is a ticking time bomb when it comes to that. When it comes to our world being in nuclear danger. Oh, and now the US top generals are being forced to retire. And what's that? Who's that? Chief of Army Staff? Or is it the, how do you say that? I think it's the Chief of the Army Staff or Chief of Army Staff or something like that. I'm forgetting right now. But and other top generals. Or who's been forced to retire just now? I was just watching it on the news. I'm forgetting now. General George Randy or something like that, his name was or is. Let me see here. News from CBS. Hegseth is ousting his army chief of staff. Brings Hegseth's total count of purged senior military officials to over a dozen. I see. Right. It's not just General Randy George. Okay, so it's Randy George, not George Randy. It's General Randy George who's on the way out, who's being forced into retirement because of Pete Hegseth. Defense officials say that Hegseth's team is also removing General David Hoon, a former Army Ranger who leads the service's Transformation and Training Command, Major General William Green, JR, does that stand for junior? Could be. Head of the Army's Chaplain Corps. Oh, so you won't even leave him alone. Yet you hide behind religion. Yet you are a true Christian and a true Catholic, are you, Pete Hegseth? Yeah, you're watching me too. And what? You've got a target on my back too now? Huh? Pete Hegseth? Well, I've got the Galactics covering my back. What are you going to do about that? You can't do anything about that because you are powerless against the Galactics. Even the CIA is powerless against the Galactics, and they've actually seen it because of how the Galactics, the Arcturians, and Commander Ashtar stopped CIA. And I shall leave it at that for now because I've covered that in my previous videos last year as well, going back, to last year. And if you come for me, Pete Hegseth, the Galactics will deal with you in whatever manner they deem necessary. And if they have to take you out because you want to take me out, then that's what will happen. You will be taken out. by the galactics who have my back. You hear me? They've done it already with someone else. And you are no exception when it comes to my safety. Because you better stop with all this human sacrifice and child sacrifice war business. Performing human sacrifices through war and child sacrifices through war for the devil Baphomet. You better stop. You're going to hell anyway, but I can see that neither you nor President Trump cares about going to hell even, because, President Trump's been saying, I'm not going to make it to heaven. I'm not going to heaven. Yet, he still won't stop waging war. So what does that tell me? That tells me that, okay, so you guys don't even care about going to hell then, right? Yet you hide behind religion. And President Trump was just on the news with his faith advisor, that woman. And she was comparing him to Jesus? Really? Yeah, maybe, you know what, President Trump, you were supposed to do right, like Jesus. But look at what you've ended up doing. That's why we were trying to talk to you all last year and the year before. That's why I was trying to talk to you, and the Galactics and your star family, the Arcturians, were trying to talk to you. Because I was supposed to be your spiritual advisor, religious advisor, political advisor. Not her. Because she may mean well, but she's misguided. And she's misguiding you by comparing you to Jesus. Because how many civilians did Jesus kill? How many little girls did Jesus kill? How many wars did Jesus wage? Huh? Exactly my point. So no, you are not to be compared with Jesus, President Trump. You are nothing like Jesus. And you are a disgrace when it comes to the 144,000 at this point. That's why we were asking you to come to me, come to us, so we could advise you correctly when it comes to religion, spirituality, politics, all of it. But no, look at what you've done and what you're doing instead. You're playing in the hands of the devil. And you're hiding behind religion. And you're comparing yourself to Jesus, or your faith advisor is. And you're okay with that. You were standing right behind her, right? Being okay with that when she was saying all that? I watched it on the news. And I've told you this before last year, and I'm telling you again, and I'm repeating myself because you're watching as well, President Trump. You're watching me as well. You're watching us as well. You're playing accomplice to the devil with this war, okay? Because the devil has got a stronghold on you, on your mind. You're under mind control. And it's the devil Baphomet that has your mind, that's controlling your mind. That's why your mind is so scrambled all the time. That's why you ramble. And everyone's noticing that because everyone's watching world news and watching you just ramble on and on. It's like making no sense. And you have no self-awareness, do you? Because you just keep repeating the same old, the same nonsensical BS on world news in front of the world. And you have no self-awareness that You're doing that, right? President Trump, you need a mental exorcism. I told you that last year here. That's why we were asking you to come to me, come connect with me, because I am an exorcist. And you need a mental exorcism because the devil Baphomet has your mind. You're under mind control by the devil Baphomet. And that's why you're waging this war with Prime Minister Netanyahu. Because Prime Minister Netanyahu is already possessed by the devil Baphomet, so is President Putin. That's why they're doing what they're doing. And now they've dragged you into it as well. And now the devil Baphomet has your mind and has you under mind control as well, President Trump. You're under mind control by the devil Baphomet. That's why your mind is that scrambled. And the whole world can see it on the news when you speak. Other than you, I guess, as I keep saying, because you have no self-awareness. That's why I was asking you to come connect with me and come connect with the Arcturians, your star family, through me. Because I'm your star family too. I'm an Arcturian too. I'm just not white and not a Christian, not a Jew. Oh, and of course, am I even a Muslim? Oh, should I have even said that? Well, somebody has to at some point. So, I'm sure there are people who don't consider me a Muslim anyway. So, what does it matter? And I'm sure they're watching me too, and still spiritually attacking me with all the black magic and death magic in the world to kill me, still, for years. Yet they can't seem to kill me. Yet I'm the devil, but they can't seem to kill me. I'm the devil, and they are of God, but yet they still can't seem to kill me. So what does that tell you? Who is of God and who is of the devil? Think about it. And this is for these people watching me, including the Vatican and the new Pope, Pope Leo. You cannot kill me because I am an avatar of God as well. That's why you cannot kill me with all your black magic and sorcery and all your death magic and all types of evil spirits that you keep sending at me to kill me too, or just to make me go crazy, to scramble my mind as well, like you're doing to President Trump. Yeah. He's under spiritual attack too. That's why his mind is being scrambled, and that's why he's under mind control by the devil Baphomet. But he doesn't even realize it. He doesn't even know, and I keep telling him. But I guess he's not listening, or he's just not getting it because he's not all that smart as he keeps claiming to be. Right. I think I've said my piece for this video message. So, I'll take my leave for now. Take care, stay safe, over and out.